Sounds like a wonderful companion. I know that he is getting old in feline years. He is curious if he will return in another body in this lifetime. If we'll get more time with him.
That is what he has chosen.
So he will be coming back.
He will.
Hello, my name is Jake Ray. I am a certified hypnotist. I practice regression and progression hypnosis, as well as quantum healing hypnosis technique, which I'm a level 2 practitioner of. If you want to know more about my practice, if you want to get in touch with me, link for my website is in the description box down below. And I do offer remote sessions as well as in person. So whatever your needs, I am here to help. Check it out if you're interested. And of course, before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing, of course, helps you not miss any future videos, and liking helps me boost this video and get it in front of more people's eyes. So thank you so much for your support. I do appreciate it. All right, so today's topic is about animals, and specifically the pets that we share our lives with. This is definitely a topic that I have seen animal communicators talk about. When I first had this topic and pets start to come into sessions, there was a couple different clients who came with questions about their pets or the animals and the pets coming up in the past life experience. And when I started to have this information coming forward, I dug in a little bit more. I started to look into animal communicators and animal mediums to learn a little bit more from a different viewpoint of what's going on here. My husband is more the animal communicator than I am. I certainly love animals and I adore them, but he naturally has more of that connection and that telepathic communication, and it's a topic that he's been working on. So I wanted to know more. I wanted to dig in a little bit more. And so it was fascinating to find out some of that information that animal mediums have come up with. And one particular animal medium, she was talking about connecting in with a pet's energy and connecting in with their past, present, and future energies. And so she was talking about the ways that tapping in like this allowed her to see the incarnational patterns of the pet, of the animal, and to really understand if they are coming back, if they're reincarnating again, and all of the information around that. And she was really great at explaining this. But ultimately, her and other mediums, other animal communicators have definitely explored and looked into this idea of pets coming back, of pets reincarnating. And I think it makes a lot of sense with the ways that they are these companions and these support beings for us, and they help us in so many different ways. And their lifespans are typically shorter than ours. And so having them come back multiple times within a lifetime makes sense. We'll get into more of why and how and all of that as we go along. But not all pets do come back. That was one thing that she made really clear, and it makes sense from the viewpoint of incarnation that I have and the understandings that I have of human reincarnation. And the reason for them coming back, or the reason that they might not come back, depends on the lessons and the missions that they're on with us, and the ways that they either are continuing to assist us. Maybe those lessons aren't completely wrapped up. We see that with humans, where if you and another soul continue to have lessons that you're learning, if you have more that you want to work through, or maybe if there was a lesson that you were trying to learn and you weren't able to learn it to the fullest extent, or you didn't get there from a soul's perspective, then you're going to come back with that soul more than likely to try again. And maybe you'll switch up the roles, maybe you'll switch up the situation, but we see this with pets as well. And if they are coming back, if they are returning to your life again within the same lifetime, or over lifetimes, there's more that they're helping you with. There's more support and energy work that they're assisting with, and there's more that either you're learning from them or they're learning from you, and usually it's a two-way street, right? So wanted to talk a little bit more about this topic today. Wanted to pull in a couple different sessions and give you some examples of what this looks like in client, real life client experience. And I have a couple clips to play for you as well. Just like that opening clip that you heard, that's from one session that I had where we got the straight up answer of yes, that animal is coming back, that pet is coming back. So we'll get more into the full story of that client session and that experience with their higher self and their pet. But before we get into that, before we start digging in, please comment down below if you have had any reincarnated pets. Are they, within the same lifetime? Do you recognize your pets from past lives? There's so many different ways that this can show up, just like with human relationships. And so I would love to hear what your experiences were down in the comments below. Thanks. All right, so let's see. Am I missing anything here that I wanted to touch on? All right. So hopping on in. There's two different ways that I look at this concept. And of course, there's nuance in everything, and there's so many different ways that life can express itself in the cosmos. But there is the idea of pets kind of following you from lifetime to lifetime, or accompanying you between lives, between incarnations. And then there's the idea of pets coming back within the current lifetime, coming back for multiple incarnations while you're in your one incarnation. So we'll explore both of those different ways, and I have some examples from client sessions to illustrate this point. So I hope you enjoy the topic. I hope you enjoy it, because I think that animals have been coming up a lot for me lately, and I think that these other beings that we share this planet with have so much to teach us. And I've been deep diving into dolphins with Joan Ocean. If you're familiar with her, as I'm sure many of you are, you'll know it's just so cool. Just so cool. The work that she's been doing for decades and decades, and the ways that she has elevated our understanding of interspecies communication, multidimensionality. I mean, it's just really cool stuff. So I'll definitely be putting together a video talking more about that and deep diving into dolphins, because it's a topic I've covered before, but I think there's fresh energies and there's fresh information that I think is valuable to share with y'all. So anyway, tangent aside, let's get into the first way that pet reincarnation can come about, and the ways that we can see this within our lives. So, like I've said a few times here, we have so much support from multiple different beings and dimensions and places in the galaxy. I mean, there's a lot of support for us humans in our soul journeys, and that is, not a self-centered sort of observation. It's more that, these are, on some levels, these are aspects of ourselves. On other levels, we are also supporting them in other dimensions and other timelines. When we're looking at things throughout the quantum, there's this entanglement, right, between like particles. And I think that when we look at the ways that support comes in for us, it really is about the betterment of the cosmos and these larger narratives that are beyond what we can see here on this planet. We can see with our blinders on within this incarnation. And so I think we're starting to get glimpses beyond our previous conceptions and our understandings of things, but I think it will continue to unfold. And there are parts of incarnation and parts of the cosmos and reality that I think just don't really fit within the human brain, the limits that we've placed on ourselves for our incarnation. Getting off into the weeds, but I feel like that's important to talk about because it all ties in with the support that we get from the animal beings on this planet and the other beings that we share our Earth space with, that we live side by side, and especially those animals that are companions to us, the dogs and the cats, the horses, the birds. I mean, these are souls who are in it with us in a more direct way, in a more concrete way than, say, the songbirds out in your yard, or the deer that are, out in the woods. So all that to say, I think that if you're familiar with the idea of past life reincarnation, of humans and soul groups incarnating together, this concept that we come into lifetimes and we explore incarnations with the same soul group. Oftentimes, it's not always that case, but we can also have animals and pets that come through lifetimes with us. And I think that with this, it's important to talk about karma as well, and the ways that karma and past incarnations can sort of link us up with souls. And I don't like the idea of karma being the shackle that like shackles you to another person, that you're not able to get away from them and you're trapped with them. And it's very much that victim mentality, and it is not that that way. And if that is your perception, I really encourage you to get quiet, go inside, speak and connect with your higher self, so that you can understand the deeper flow and the deeper meaning behind the relationships or the connections that you have. And oftentimes when we're coordinating with souls before we come in, we're coordinating, what lessons are we going to learn, what experiences are we going to have, what relationships are going to help us with that, what souls are going to help us with that, and is there any karma that needs to be rebalanced? Because I really view karma as this balancing act of energies, and if you have more of a lower vibration or a lower energetic, you have to balance that out with a higher energetic. And so when you're looking at balancing karma out, whether it be within a lifetime or whether it be between lifetimes or over a series of lifetimes, the idea that you're balancing that karma, I think, is important to bring in, because that ties in with the animals that we also share our space with and the animals that we reincarnate with. And I think that the karma that we have between animals is a little bit different than the karma that we have between human souls, but it is karma nonetheless. And I certainly think that the ways that we treat animals, and especially those that are our companions, the ways that we treat them and the ways that we move through life with them, it does impact our karma, and I think can have a positive or a negative effect on our journey as a soul. And so I think being aware of that is important. And I think that the idea that we can recognize these souls, whether they be animal or human, is something that I've seen in sessions. It might be going through a past life, and that client is like, "Oh my gosh, mom, mom, you're here." And, mom in this lifetime might be, a sister in a past life, or maybe, your husband in this lifetime was your sister in a last, or your brother in a last. And so even though the roles can change, even though the physical appearance can change, it's like that energetic acknowledgement, or that energetic recognition of the other being, the other soul. And so we see this with humans, but I've also seen this with animals in past life experiences. And I've seen people recognize their pets in these past lives, and that's regardless of what they look like or what their role was. And so I have yet to see like a pet from a past life become a human in this lifetime, but there is definitely talk of that sort of evolution of the soul, and that soul or source energy, can evolve and change. And as it gains experiences and sort of individualizes even further in its soul journey and its soul growth, like there is that possibility of becoming becoming human from an animal state. And I've had clients go back to lifetimes where they were animals. Dolores Candace has written extensively about this topic as well. The client sessions that she had and the different animal beings or even bugs, rocks, trees. I've seen some of this in my sessions, and definitely it's corroborated by other regressionists, and it's just fascinating to see. So anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked there, but the example that I wanted to bring in of this sort of lifetime hopping, or going from the pets following you from lifetime to lifetime, was a session where my client, and we'll call him Connor, my client had a lifetime as a Native American, and I have seen a few different lifetimes, or I should say I've explored a few Native lifetimes with different clients, and there is always this deep connection to nature, and deep connection to the animals, and just the ways that they interact with the natural world, the ways that they interact with animals especially, is very different. I had one client who described riding into battle on the back of her horse, and she was a fierce warrior and had an eagle on her shoulder. Was it an eagle or a hawk? I can't remember the exact bird, but it was a very large bird, and was just sitting on her shoulder, and was sort of a support, a companion. There was certainly a evolved relationship there beyond just like Snow White holding out her finger and the bird landing on it. This was a deeper connection. There was telepathy there was communication there was mutual respect, and there was definitely deep power in the collaboration between these beings. And I'm getting chills as I'm talking about this, because it was just a really cool experience and a cool session. But in Connor's lifetime, in my client Connor's session, we explored this lifetime where he found himself doing the duties, or his job, I guess, within the tribe. His main responsibility was caretaking for the animals, and he took care of the horses. But beyond the horse companions that they had within the tribe, the most impactful animal connection that he had was with a buffalo. And it was really something else to see the emotions that he felt as he saw this buffalo, as he was looking into its eye, and just that deep love, that deep respect, that deep connection that he had with this animal, and with the other animals as well, that he interacted with and took care of and supported. But what was even more fascinating about this connection with the buffalo was that he recognized that buffalo, and that buffalo was his cat in the current lifetime. And it's just funny because he described his cat a little bit afterwards, and his cat, had a little bit of a stockier build, big boned, definitely not fat. Like very muscular, but yeah, definitely like heavier set, and had like kind of bushier hair, certainly reminiscent of a buffalo. But he recognized that energy. He recognized the energies of that companion in that lifetime and in this. And there was clearly this very deep soul connection between them. And it was clear that they were supporting each other in that lifetime as well as in this one. And again, if a pet is going to accompany you from lifetime to lifetime, there's deeper purpose there. There's a deeper mission there. And there is certainly more that y'all are learning together, that you're working on together. And it's just really beautiful to see another aspect of that soul connection, and the ways that, yes, human to human connection is important, and is is arguably, the most important in our human incarnations. But these connections that we have with the animal world, with trees, with the other beings that we share this earth with, I think the more that we recognize those relationships as valuable and as having purpose, having I think it just leads us to the place that I was talking to last week, where we're moving towards more of a galactic world, and the ways that we treat the animals that we share the planet with. There's just so many wrong ways that we interact with them, and that we treat them, and that we don't understand our oneness with them. And I think is just another reminder of the growth that we need to continue to focus on in order to facilitate that galactic connection and joining in with our cosmic family, because I think that there is still work to be done with us. And I don't mean necessarily that everyone needs to be vegan. I'm not calling that specific of a command or a message, but I think that the more mindful that we can be, and even looking at the ways that native cultures and indigenous people will have a more respectful and a more mindful approach to eating meat or eating eggs or what have you. And there's certainly lots of resources out there as far as like mindful eating and the ways that you can be spiritual about your consumption, and about respecting the life force and the energies of other beings, of the other expressions of cosmic light in this realm. So all that to say, I think it was a really fascinating session, and was fascinating too because we have dug into a couple other past lives of this client's. I've explored a few other sessions with him, and we've seen this same pet popping up in other lifetimes as well. So it is always beautiful to see those through lines, or those relationships that connect between lifetimes, and can be some of the most powerful moments within a session, where you realize the grander context, the bigger story, and you can see where you have this support, and how you aren't alone, even though sometimes we look at pets coming into our lives as coincidence, or it just happened. And I have found in the work that I do, in the ways that I explore reality with folks, and explore incarnation and life, there are no coincidences, and there is no coincidence in the meeting of souls. So all that to say, fascinating session. And I think understanding those through lines between lifetimes can just provide deeper insight into your relationships in your current lifetime, and understanding those beings, whether they be animal or human, on a deeper level, and really seeing that larger soul context for what you're doing here and why you're doing it. Okay, I'm going to just take a little sippy here. If you're still here, thanks so much. I really do appreciate those of you who watch my videos all the way through. I really think that there's importance in the messages that I have to bring. And I think that, I know I've been called by my higher self, by beings and forces beyond this physical 3D world, beyond this human incarnation. Like, there is a larger purpose at work, and I felt that call. And I think that I guess all in all, like, I really do appreciate the support, and appreciate y'all listening, because I I really think that there's important messages and information for the collective in these more individual client experiences, right? And of course, if any of this is resonating with you, if you are interested in exploring, your pet incarnations through hypnosis, or any of the other myriad of ways that hypnosis can help you, whether it be relationship or purpose or career, please reach out. Like I said, I offer remote sessions if you are not local to me in Minnesota, and I definitely would be honored to guide you and help you find these answers and this information and this healing for yourself, because certainly pet reincarnation might not be the top priority for everyone, and is certainly not a not always an emergency to find out. And I know hypnosis can be a little bit of an investment, but this is one aspect, one facet, and a very interesting one to explore in this way. And yeah, so all in all, love y'all. Okay, so the other way. All right, so the other way that I've seen pet reincarnation is within the current lifetime. So these are the same pet coming back in different bodies and in different forms within your current life. And I've seen a lot of people talk about this, whether it be personal stories or animal mediums or animal communicators identifying this. But I think that this is certainly one way that pets help and support us through our lifetimes. And it can be as simple as just like love and companionship, and that that animal love that you don't necessarily get in the same way from other humans. It's unique to them and their being, and whether it be a dog or a cat, whether it be a bird or a horse, or whether it be another animal that has chosen to be in close communion with you and to walk this life with you, there's value in those relationships. And so the session that I wanted to share in regards to this was a session that I've talked about a few times. So some of the details of this story may be familiar to you, but there is oftentimes so much information that comes through in a session, and so many different facets of incarnation and of a client's questions and past life experience and higher self wisdom, that it's virtually impossible to pack that all into one conversation. So I tend to find it helpful to kind of break it up into more bite-sized pieces to help make it as impactful and make the message as clear as possible as well. Because the more content you jam into one thing, it can end up being a little bit surface. And I'm all about getting to the deep and getting down into the nitty gritty and really digging into the depths of our consciousness, of our unconscious, and exploring what's there, right? So this is a session where Tony came to the session, and one of their questions was about their cat. Their cat was getting a little older, and this was a cat they had since they were, pretty young. Had been alive for a very long time, had been with them through a lot of life, and they knew that this pet's time in this incarnation was coming to an end. And so one of the questions that they had was, is my kitty coming back? Is there going to be another lifetime? Do I get more time with this being that I love so dearly? And that was part of the exchange you heard at the beginning of this video. And I think that there was just a lot of beautiful information that came through around their relationship, around this kitty, and around kind of the purpose of what was going on. So let me play that other clip for you, or I should say, play the remainder of that clip for you so you can get a little bit more of a glimpse into what their higher self was shedding light on around this beloved pet and their relationship. So let me play that and we'll continue.
They are family. He is also of the light. He agreed to come as a companion to lighten the experience. He helps nourish the soul in the darkness and the weight.
All right, so as you heard, one of my favorite parts of what they said was he nourishes the soul. And I don't think this is just that pet. I think that a lot of pet owners, pet collaborators, I guess the word owners is a little bit weird, but you know what I mean. If you have a pet, if you have a companion in your life, I think those moments when they nourish your soul. And in this particular instance, if you have watched my more recent videos, you'll know about Tony and Tony's lifetime. They were shown various scenes from their childhood, from their current lifetime during their past life regression. And that included the first time they met this kitty. And it was really such a cute moment. And I've talked about this before, but oftentimes when clients regress to their current life, when they regress to childhood, or even in a past life when they find themselves in a child's body, their voice shifts, their voice changes, and they literally sound like that childlike version of themselves. And it's really fascinating to witness that change and to witness the way the voice can change as we're exploring a past life, and then especially once we contact their higher self. I find that that is usually the most dramatic shift in a person's voice. When their higher self comes through, and is one of those flags that helps us to see who we're talking with, and helps us to understand even deeper what's going on in that past life regression or in the higher self conversation. So ultimately, what Tony's higher self shared was that Tony was shown the current lifetime because they didn't have any past lives to show, or at least none in a sense of past lives that we understand. And that was because Tony, their soul, was directly from source. Their higher self described it as from the light, and that they hadn't incarnated before. They had in fact never been to Earth before, and they incarnated directly from source, and they would return back to source. So if you want to know more about that situation and dive more into that, check out my video. I'll link them here as well. I'll link them here as well for you guys so that it's easy to find. But it's the soul from source, and then I talked about it as well last week in my Humanity's Galactic Future video as well. So I'll link both of those so that it is easy for you to find. But what I found fascinating about their pet and this incarnational journey that their pet was on was that their cat had come from source with them as well. Their cat was family. Their cat was from the light, and their cat had incarnated along with them specifically to be that light in the darkness, to be that support, to be that nourishment, to be that love in a very unfamiliar environment. I've talked about this before. Many of us starseeds, many of us who feel so connected to the stars and to the beings that are beyond, those of us who are from Sirius or are from the Pleiades or are from Andromeda, we have a difficult time here on Earth oftentimes. And I found that many of us have had other incarnations. And yet it can be so challenging to be here, here in this reality. It can be quite a tough learning experience. Earth school is not for the weak, and I think that it makes a lot of sense that there would be more support coming in with a soul like Tony's, who had come from Source and would be returning to Source. And I just think that it was beautiful confirmation of the connection that they had at that soul level. It was beautiful confirmation of the qualities that their relationship had. And furthermore, we got that confirmation for Tony that indeed their cat would be coming back, that this was not the end of their journey together in this lifetime. And especially because of the unique origins of those souls and the journey that they would take afterwards, it makes sense that they would have multiple incarnations here together, because Tony is not done with their mission. They are still working on that. They are still going through this lifetime. And I got the sense that their kitty would be coming back multiple more times. I mean, we got confirmation that they would come back at least once. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was more, because again, that mission is not complete. So Tony and Connor are not the only clients that I've had coming with pet questions or with pet information that came through in the session. I've had other people, I had one client who came, their beloved pet had recently passed, and they wanted to know more about whether their pet would be coming back, whether there would be another incarnation, and kind of when would that happen, how would that happen, just trying to look for more information on this. And their higher self was able to give them that information, to share that information with them. And they were able to get more clarity on when their pet was coming back, how their pet was coming back. And it just brought a very deep sense of peace and a just reassurance that the journey's not over, and that they would have more time together. Because even though so many of us understand that death is but a transformation, it is not the end that some believe it to be, there's still those very real human emotions that we feel of loss and of separation, because of the reality we're living in, and because of the ways that we perceive, the physical versus these other layers of dimensions and of reality. And so I think that finding this information, being able to get that information is so helpful for folks, especially those of us who have that deep connection to our pets and to these beautiful beings that spend their time with us. So definitely pet and animal questions are wonderful questions to bring to a session, and I really do love exploring this topic with clients. I certainly think that it is a valuable way to find this information. Of course, there are animal communicators, there are animal mediums out there who can also assist you in this. There are certainly qualified folks out there to help you get that information. But similar to the ways that I talk about hypnosis with other problems, other questions, there is something so empowering and deeply personal about hypnosis. And it really is about accessing that deeper wisdom and knowledge within you, and helping you to feel empowered to find those answers yourself. There are certainly times where we do need to go outside of ourselves and tap into those other beings that are able to support us, whether that be a tarot reader or a medium, or a psychic. There are so many times throughout our lives where we do need that external support. We are not here to be an island unto ourselves. We are here for community most often. there are no absolutes with incarnation, but human community is a thing. It's we have chosen this false separation from source to then find our way back to connection with source and connection with everyone and everything. It's remembering that oneness. And so if we are stubbornly trying to do everything ourselves and never ask anyone for help or get support from elsewhere, that is just not always the smartest thing. But I do think that there is so much value in hypnosis for the ways that it can help you. And myself as the hypnotist, I'm your guide. I'm helping you to access this state of trance, so that you can then access that information for yourself and tap into the knowledge from your lifetimes, as well as tap into your higher self. And that's some of the most important pieces of what I do, or I should say, like, what I find so valuable about the techniques that I've found and the ways that I've learned to use hypnosis and to use these techniques of regression to help you to tap into that higher self, that subconscious version of you, and to be able to get sort of that oversoul perspective on a myriad of life things, right? Anyway, if you are interested in finding these answers for yourself, if you're interested in the hypnosis experience, certainly check out my website. Reach out to me. I'm happy to do a free consultation, 30-minute Zoom call with you to discuss any questions or your goals, or even just to figure out what path is going to be best to help you with what you're looking to get out of hypnosis. Because for someone who isn't super familiar with different techniques or different ways of using this, it can be a little confusing. And so I'm here to guide you before, during, and after the session. So yeah, if you're looking to explore that, if you're looking for hypnosis experience of yourself, please let me know. Reach out. I would be honored. All right. Other than that, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help. Comment below if any of this resonated with you. If you maybe this triggered some memories of past lives with your own pet, or maybe there were some synchronicities that came about after this that helped to illuminate your own pet's incarnations. And I hate how it does that. It it does like a... Will it do it? Yeah, it does like a thumbs up. And I'm like, I don't want that. I don't need that. Anyway, I can't figure out how to turn it off. All right. Beyond that, I hope that you all enjoyed this content and enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for sticking it out with me, because I really do think there's valuable information to share within these sessions and the experiences of my clients. And I hope that it resonated with you. All right. All of the love and the light to you all. Bye for now.